Hey all, these days I'm cycling with a German couple named Patrick and Diana. We met in Goa and have crossed Karnataka together. And today we are entering into Kerala, the land of backwaters, lush hills, tea gardens and stunning beaches. So let's explore Kerala together. As we crossed an invisible border, I noticed two things. One, there were lottery stalls everywhere. And two, there is no official border signage between Karnataka and Kerala. No gates, no checkposts, nothing. And guess what? The moment we entered, we were welcomed with some sweet given by a family where she tried to park her bicycle.
Ask for water and then they gave me the
Sweet.
Yes.
Welcome to Kerala. That's sweet. Nice one. Very nice dish.
We were getting hungry and we were thinking of stopping for food, but our lady Diana, she straight up said no, we are going to eat free food today too. Me and Patrick looked at each other, what the hell is she talking about? But she proved us wrong.
I want to do this to you.
Why?
So I'm doing it because when you said that we'll eat in the temple, I was saying which temple? There is no temple. If there is a temple, where will we get the free food?
Look!
And when I saw this, I said, come on.
I have it in your mind.
You know everything. She's the boss.
Later, we planned to visit the Bekal Fort, the largest fort in Kerala, hoping to rest there for some time. But unfortunately, we could not find a good spot to sit. We had to cycle to another place which was again nearby, and there was a local fair which was going on. I sat down to enjoy a cup of coffee by the beach. They took a dip into the sea and it came out to be a perfect break for all of us. All the time they were telling me that during their cycling ride in Iran and Afghanistan, how they stayed overnight in the mosques, looking at many mosques in this area. They also try to do that. But what they have forgot, this is India. And India, it is not permitted to sleep inside in any mosque. After talking to few locals, someone suggested that we can check out at ashram, which is called Nityanand Kotha, and it is there in Kanhagad. When we were cycling on the way, we were stopped by a kind-hearted man whose name is Nasir Bhai, who owned a restaurant by the name of Bardosh Sorma. He offered us dinner at that place, and not only that, he even offered to let us sleep inside his shop. But we didn't want to trouble him by keeping the shop shutter open throughout the night. It was technically not safe and practical at the same time. So around 9 p.m. we finally made it to Nityanand Kotha ashram, and there they offered us a room, and that's how we spent our first night in Kerala after lots of struggle. Now on day 2 we had no idea what was coming because this was the day when we met the thugs of Kerala. So at a restaurant we were told that they will serve us a big fish enough for 2 people, and that would cost only 120 rupee, and a plate of rice will be 70 rupee.
Ghee rice is 60 and biryani is 70.
He's saying for the rice 70, fish curry 30.
But what happened next was completely disappointing. Both Diana and Patrick were clearly disappointed when they saw that big fish which arrived in a plate. It was actually quite a small, barely enough for one person. This all happened at this place known Hotel TS.
Should we just go?
It's better?
आपने कहा कुछ और दिया कुछ और, ये तो गलत बात है ना. बड़ा फिश जो उन्होंने रोड साइड पे देखा बिकता हुआ, वो जो रोड पे बिकता है बड़ा, पता नहीं कौन सा है,
वो ऐसे बोलते हैं बड़ा,
वो तो उसको लगा कि उतना बड़ा होगा. इसको देख के तो उसका दिल ही टूट गया.
You promised a big fish is not a big fish.
This is big fish, small.
We are on the coast since Mumbai.
I don't want, this is also black.
This is not a big fish.
No.
This is not a big fish, I'm sorry.
This fish is
कोई भी इसको बड़ा फिश बोलेगा.
इधर का बड़ा fish. Fish, take it.
I get a whole fish thali for 80-90 rupees with the same fish. This is nothing. I'm sorry, you said big fish. This is nothing. I will not buy a small fish for 120, no chance. We are traveling on the coast since Mumbai. This is the river. There's nothing. You said big fish. Big fish is for 2 at least. There's no big fish. I'm sorry. There's no big fish at all. You want the money for the samosa or not? So 30.
अभी भी तो ऐसे नहीं कभी किधर होटल में जाएगा ना पहले देख के पूछो.
Then, like a blessing, we found another place to eat. It was simple, cheap, and the food was delicious. It felt like heaven after all that mess. We were very happy and satisfied after having that meal, but destiny had other plans. Soon, we reached this place named EZHIMALA, where within a few meters we had to climb 120 meters of elevation, and it completely tested our stamina. So, when we made it to the top, it was a steep downhill at the same time, and my bicycle brakes, they stopped working, and that was a scary moment.
That person would have been mad. Cannot brake. Brakes not working. No? Very less. Shit. I couldn't even stop there. ब्रेक छोड़ के लगा रहा हूँ ताकि शू ब्रेक तो नहीं चेंज करने वाले हो, और ये तो स्टीप टर्न है, रुकना पड़ेगा. पाँव से रोक रहा हूँ मैं. लंबा टर्न मारता हूँ. बाप रे, खतरनाक हो गया ये.
This was our second night in Kerala. Nasir bhai called up and he gave us a reference of somebody there in Munnar city. We thought of having a perfect place to stay that night. We drove 30 kilometers within a span of 1 hour. But when we arrived to that place and we tried calling that man, he stopped answering our calls. Now we were left stranded, nowhere to go in the dark. We kept waiting from Nasir bhai and that man till 8 o'clock. But when there was no response from their side, we lost the hope. Thankfully, we met a kind family, and with their help and their reference, we got the permission to sleep inside a temple hall. But it was very hot that night. None of us could really sleep. And we were also told that we had to leave that place at 5 a.m. in the morning. And the same thing we did. We left that place early. Next morning, we started the ride from that temple. Soon it was the afternoon time, and we were searching for a food, rather a free food in their language. Few locals, they guided us to go to Sri Ramaswamy temple there in Thalasri city. We went to Ramaswamy temple. There we met a aged local man. He stopped us there and said that the foreigners are not allowed inside the temple. When I told him that we were looking for a free food, we are short of funds, he took us to the nearby shop and ordered that woman to provide us the food, and he will pay for that.
What's your good name, sir?
I am Pradeep Boa.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really kind of you.
That's alright.
It was a simple act of kindness that meant a lot. Later, on that day, we entered into the Maha city. Riding alongside the beach was peaceful until suddenly the road vanished. There we had to push our bicycles through the sand just to get back onto the road. There on the beach, Diana went to take a dip in the sea. Patrick was sleeping and I was working on my laptop. This is when we discovered a few coconuts lying there on the beach itself. With the help of a local, we opened those coconuts and had it as a refreshing snack. It was a must needed break in the scorching afternoon heat. Actually, we found a roadside hotel and had a meal served on banana leaves followed by the tea. It felt amazing, but the day was not over yet. These days, it's maybe because Patrick's bicycle was overloaded. The rear wheel spokes were breaking one after another. So there in front of a shop, we stopped to repair them. And till the time we could finish that repair work, it was already 6 p.m. So we were riding near this place named as Payyyoli. There while riding on the right hand side, we spotted a church. We thought to go and ask for the permission to stay. There we spoke to the father and he generously allowed us to sleep in one of the classrooms. For dinner that night, we went to the local market. On the next day, we started our journey from that classroom in the school run by the church. And as we continued on the beach road, we had no idea what was about to unfold. We stopped after hearing the sound of drums coming from a temple. There the locals, they were celebrating with the elephant and rituals, and it was beautiful to look at that.
Something I have, cool drink something? Some snacks. You want? Enjoy that. It's our gods of country.
Thank you. Oh,
What's your name? Patrick. Patrick. My name is Diljit. What's your? Diljit. Diljit. Yeah, heart winner. What's your name?
Diana.
Diana. Nice name.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Amit.
Yeah, very good. Bye.
Wow.
I will come back.
They even invited us to eat prashadam with them, and that was authentic South Indian food served with love. Moments like this stay in the heart forever. Riding from there, we arrived to this place named Kappad. This is the historical place there in Kerala where Vasco da Gama landed for the first time in India. Soon it was the lunch time and we were hungry, so we sat at a roadside eatery and had rice with the tea and paid 60 rupees for both. As we entered into a Muslim majority area near Tanur, Tanur, something uncomfortable happened. What happened that the locals, the Muslim people particularly, they started behaving unusually after seeing Diana. For the first time, I saw Patrick visibly annoyed. At a point, he turned to me and said, "Are they high or something else?"
All of them are coming.
So, have you been hungry for a very long time and suddenly you find something of your, you didn't even expect? So, how will be your reaction?
Because of Diana, you mean?
Of course.
So there are enough Hindu women that are not normal, right?
Here in this area, you won't find any Hindu. This is a Muslim area, no? Watching somebody with blonde hair and white skin makes the difference. Here, the women, even Hindu women, they are not white at all. Did you remember that auto wala? He came out like it's a window. Hello! So that's a strange thing. And you will find it in such areas more.
Later, a group of young boys surrounded us and offered a room to sleep, but we had to politely refuse. But finding a place to stay that night was not easy. We were struggling. This city named Mallapuram, and there a kind man named Baputi, Baputi, he came to our rescue. He opened the shutter of an empty shop and let us sleep there that night. And not only that, in the next morning, he invited us to his home, and there we had a lovely breakfast with this family before leaving Malapur on that day. Such warmth and generosity we will never forget. On that day also, we kept riding on the seaside roads. Despite the heat, the views kept us going, but it was so hot we had to kill time on the beach doing nothing until 5 p.m. That day when we were searching for a place to stay, following the locals' advice, we went to a church in Vadakannapalli. But before reaching there, we wanted to eat something. On the side of the road, we spotted a Rajasthani chaat stall. I had curd puri and Diana and Patrick, they had samosa chaat. We slept in a classroom in that church building itself. The next morning brought one of the most beautiful beachside rides so far. We saw a small food stall and decided to try authentic Kerala food, and we ordered for what locals eat daily. Now it was the time for a new chapter. Patrick and Diana, their visa was about to expire, so they have decided to pack their bicycle and prepare for their next destination. There, sitting at the stall itself, they booked the ticket for Morocco from Kochi. There itself, we met with a gentleman who suggested us to go and connect with Dr. Kishan Kumar from Thrissur. He even called him up and made us talk to him directly. So he invited us to come and stay with them for a few days. That night we reached to Thrissur and met Dr. Krishna in person. He is not only a cycling enthusiast but also runs a cycle shop named Crank Cycling Joint. Dr. Krishna made sure that we had a memorable night. He arranged our stay at a peaceful and beautiful place which is called as Pumla Dam Lake. Later that night, he took us in an auto to his sister's cafe for a very nice dinner. The next day morning, we returned to the Crank Cycling Joint and ended up staying there for 4 days. Diana and Patrick, they were busy packing their bicycle for their next journey, and I was preparing my bicycle for the solo ride once again. We also took out a day to explore Kochi city on the bicycle with a local cycling group. It was a great experience to see the city with fellow cyclists, and then the time came to say goodbye. Diana and Patrick, they flew off to Morocco, and I also started riding solo from there. Next day, I left Thrissur and headed straight to Athirapalli waterfalls. That waterfall is famously known as Bahubali waterfalls. There, many films have been shot. There in Athirapalli, on Dr. Kishan Kumar's recommendation, I got a chance to stay there with Suresh Bhai and his lovely family of 4. Not only this, that evening Suresh Bhai took me to a local wedding and it was an amazing cultural experience, something which you don't came across often while traveling. And it did not stop there. We also went for a dip in the river and Suresh Bhai showed me a secret waterfall hidden in the wild. Beauty of Athirapalli is next level. The next morning I started riding towards Munnar. It was a tough climb, very steep gradients, but the journey was full of beauty and kind strangers. On the way I met with a fellow cyclist named Money Backpacker who is on a solo adventure on 2 wheels. That day in the lunch I also tried kanni rice for a very first time. By nightfall I reached to a place which is called Adimali, Adimali. There I managed to find a place inside a hostel paying 200 rupee for a bed. By this time I had no budget left. I wanted to work for few days, earn some money so that I can keep my journey continued. So I decided to return to Adimali and stay there for a while. But before that, on the very next day, I cycled to Munnar, passing through waterfalls, towering mountains and breathtaking landscapes. With the help of a local cyclist, I came to know about a stay option there in Munnar city and it was on the bus stand itself. So they charged just rupees 100 per night. In that amount, they gave me a bed inside a bus along with the electricity connection. It was a simple stay but had everything a cyclist need, especially in a touristic city like Munnar. The next morning I went on an exploring spree. I covered 7 beautiful places around Munnar and by the time I was done, it was already dark. So that night I reached to a place which is known as Chathurangada Chadurangada Para. There a local shopkeeper named Ganeshan took me to this famous place known as the windmill area. He showed me all the windmills and later he even took me to the temple for dinner. That night I pitched my tent outside the shop and slept there. It was a moment of unexpected kindness. That is something which stays with you for forever. Next morning, though I woke up early, but I found many villagers already gathered around my tent. All of them were curious and welcoming. After having breakfast, saying goodbyes, I started riding towards Idukki, Idukki. That night, I got a stay at a petrol pump and once again, kindness found me. Ramesh Bhai took me to his home and served me with a traditional Kerala breakfast known as Puttu, Puttu and banana. I also took time to visit the famous Idukki Dam. After a long ride filled with lots of ups and downs, I finally returned to Adimali. This time I rented a servant room for an entire month and there while staying in that small room working to earn money, I started something new. So this is the place where I started my new YouTube channel, World Wanderer Cycling on a Budget, where you are watching this video right now. So if you look at, I have finally covered all the missing years of my cycling journey, the ones that I had not documented on this channel, but those were available on my another channel known as Cycling Beast. Now, if you have watched all my videos so far, you would have seen each and every Indian state which I have crossed while cycling till now. So from now here on, there will be no more gaps. We will meet next in Guwahati where I left my bicycle. But before starting the Assam Cycling Guwahati series, I will take you to Hisar where we will go and choose a bicycle together. And there is something special. I also met with one of my Pakistani friend and that's too here in Delhi, India. I will show you that visit too in the next videos. If you have enjoyed my journey so far, please subscribe to this channel, World Wanderer Cycling on a Budget, and also hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of my videos first.